Well, here's an interesting question for you. Why do most startups fail? Or maybe I'll make it a little clearer. I'll give you some options. Which of the following reasons is the number one reason for startup failure? A, lack of demand for what they're offering. B, the wrong team. Or C, the timing. Think about that for a moment. Well, it might be obvious by now that in this session of the MBA Bootcamp, we're focusing on the topic of startup failure. It's very depressing, right? Unfortunately. But according to the U.S. Small Business Administration, 34% of small businesses fail in the first 2 years, and 50% fail in the first 5 years. So why we're focusing on failure is because it seems failure is more common than success in startups. So now we're going to focus on failure, because then we can all understand better how to avoid the most common causes of failure. Okay, I understand talking about failure is not very encouraging, so I promise you at the end of the session we'll also discuss the 5 reasons why startups succeed. And some of those reasons for success actually are similar to the causes of failure. So are you happy? We'll talk about success in the end. Anyway, let's move on to the real topic of this session, which is failure. Failure, we don't have time to talk about a lot of things. That's why we're focusing on failure. For example, the first question a lot of people ask is, should I take the leap? Should I leap? In other words, am I the entrepreneurial type? What's driving my desire to start the business, etc.? Do I have passion? Have I made an objective assessment of the quality of my idea or the circumstances? So when deciding the kind of should I leap question, you need to take into account a number of things. But please keep in mind that in the end, according to Harvard Business School research, entrepreneurs will earn 35% less in personal income over a 10-year period compared to what they could have earned in a paid job. So what does that mean? Don't start for the money. That's not a reason to start a startup. So let's now talk about failure. After you decide the should I leap question, then the risks begin to grow for you as a startup. Because most of the research out there says that like 90% of startups experience these kind of failure risks right from the beginning. So I think it makes a little bit of common sense that we focus on failure in terms of how it can help us succeed, right? Now, I've been waiting patiently throughout the whole bootcamp for an opportunity to introduce the UK Special Air Services SAS training drill for soldiers who find themselves landing in enemy territory. And that drill is called S.T.O.P.P, which stands for S, stop, T, think, O, observe, P, plan, and P, proceed. That's what they train them in order to survive in enemy territory. And to understand better how the STEP survival drill works, let's play a game for a minute, okay? Try to use your imagination. Let's be a bit playful. Imagine, just for a moment, you are a SAS soldier, and during the middle of the night, you've parachuted into enemy territory. You're all alone, the enemy are not far away, and time is not on your side. But all of your SAS training has taught you that the worst thing you could do, just at that moment, is to act and start moving. What your training did teach you is that you should stop. Stop and think about the situation, observe the conditions around you, plan for how you're dealing with those conditions, and only then act on that plan. So in the startup world, the stop survival drill can also be applied. But unfortunately for startups though, they find themselves every day in a different enemy territory and difficult conditions. And some of those hostile territories or conditions a startup finds themselves in are even created by themselves. For example, when I have a startup, who do I choose as a founding partner? And other hostile conditions are coming from the market and coming from competition continuously. So as a startup founder, when you encounter those hostile conditions, you would be wise to remember the STOP drill. Stop. The question then is, what are those hostile conditions which frequently cause startups to fail?